Welcome to another No Agent Left Behind podcast. Matt Middlestead here, your host with my buddies Josh Parker and Brian Armstrong, and we're here to make sure that agents out there are not left behind. You know, that's our passion, no agent left behind. So we've got a great training today and a great podcast that we're going to talk about bolts, and we'll get into that, but it's going to teach you how to be a chameleon to your clients to help you close more deals and build more relationships. So welcome everybody. I'll throw the call over to Brian. Brian, you can say hi, man, see how things are going in your neck of the woods.
Hey guys, everything's going well over here. I'm noticing the market picking up a little bit. Seems like buyers are getting ready for that summer push. I hate that I missed last week, but happy to be here this week.
Yeah, great to have you back, Bryant. And Josh, how's business going over where you're at in your neck of the woods? I know you've been out on a bunch of showings and things of that nature. We're getting into the heat of the summer. You know, it's already May. I can't believe that. Happy May 1st, everybody.
You know,
it's and I got a busy month this month for sure.
Definitely seen a pickup in the market. So it's been interesting to see. And, you know, we did our event last week, and, you know, it was interesting to hear Aaron's point of view on the market and how to approach customers and just be real with them as far as interest rates go, and, you know, what the benefit of buying now versus waiting till interest rates drop again. So it was kind of interesting take on things that, you know, I think we saw some eyeballs light up and realize that maybe they need to change the way that they're speaking to customers and make them realize that, hey, if interest rates drop, prices are going to skyrocket again, and don't miss out on the opportunity to take advantage of some of the discounts that we're seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Aaron did have a great take, and I'm glad you brought that up, Josh, because for the listeners out there, you know, the media wants to, you know, give you a bunch of clickbait, right? You know, put something out there, people click on it, they talk about it, and most of the time it's negative, right? You know, the news is negative, but what he had said really quick was, you know, hey, listen, you know, when the interest rates were down, the market was flooded with people. They were paying overpriced for houses. I mean, we saw it, people paying $100,000 over asking, people making offers over 100 and not even winning it. But people paying 150, 200, sometimes I heard in the Austin area, overpriced, and yeah, they won the deal, but did they really win in the back end? I don't think they really won in the back end. So think about this. Think about what Aaron was saying. He was saying, listen, you know, right now is actually the best time to buy, because even if the interest rate's a little bit higher, okay, well, guess what? The interest rates are going to come down, but you're not paying those $100,000 over. You're paying at market value. You're maybe getting some closing costs. You know, there's a little bit more. The sellers are a little bit more, you know, loose on what they need to do because the homes are staying on the market just a little bit longer. So you actually have a better opportunity to get a better deal right now than you did in a fierce market where there's tons of buyers that are flooded out there. And here's the beautiful thing. Even if you pay a 6-7% interest rate, depending on where they're at, well, when the market does come back, which it always does come back, and the interest rates do drop, let's say to the 4s and 5s again, okay, you listen, I'm going to be honest, you're never really going to probably see in our lifetime, we're probably not going to see the 2s again, okay? That was like a once in a lifetime thing that happened. But I would say you'll probably see, you know, in the 4s and 5s and in that range, you can always refinance, okay? Because when it does go to 4 and 5, what's going to happen is there's going to be a flood of buyers that come out because they think 4 and 5 is better than 6 and 7. And then guess what's going to happen? You're going to be in multiple offers again. You're going to be paying overpriced for the house. So you're in a great position right now to go out and buy a house. And that's what us realtors need to educate our buyers on, that this is a great time to buy, right? It's a great time to list as well. So great information Aaron brought. Aaron's a lender out of the Austin, Texas area with Guild Mortgage, and just a really good insight. Again, it's all about mindset. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into the show, guys. Yeah, we had a great event. You know, our next one we're planning is going to be in San Antonio, Texas, where, you know, we're going to get together again, and we plan on doing that this May. Us and the guys are going to get together. We'll make sure that we announce the date and the time for you. But Again, it's just to deliver value back to you. And so you can go out there and sell more houses. But today, what I want to talk to you about is, building rapport with clients. Okay. And how do you build rapport with clients? Well, you have to build relationships with them. But listen, the fact is not everybody has the same personality. So what I want to do is I want to go around the room here, and, I want to ask Bryant first, Bryant, what kind of personality do you think you have? Do you know what type of personality that you have? I'm going to throw the call over to you.
Hey, Matt, thanks. Yeah, I do actually. So, when we did the new home industry, they made us take what's called a DISC assessment test. It's a personality test. It basically tells you how to interact with certain different personalities of clients. That way you can, again, like you said, build that rapport and build that relationship. I was a DI over at the DISC, assessment test. And then with the BOLT test, which is essentially the same thing, I was a bull over there. So very laid back, I guess you can say.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go over the BOLT really quick with y'all here in just a second. But I want to hear from Josh, what he thinks he is, what kind of personality he is as well. And then I'll kind of go over the 4 different types. There's, just so you know, there's the bull, the owl, the lamb, and the tiger. Okay. And we're going to go over those 4 personality types. And some people can be a mixture of them. But Josh, go ahead and tell me what you think you are, brother.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember back in the day of mobile home sales taking that test, but I think I was a combination of pretty much everything. And for as long as I can remember, I've always just kind of blended into whatever situation I was in. And so, I fall kind of into each category a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just gonna kind of go over just a few things with you really quick. I'm gonna pull up some slides here really quick just to kind of show you. I'll tell you kind of what I am. I'm a lot of tiger. Okay, and I just to explain this here really quick, I'm gonna pull up some slides so the people that are watching the podcast on YouTube, they can see it. So, what are the 4 personality profiles? Okay. Well, it's BOLT. It stands for BOLT. It's bull, owl, lamb, and tiger. Okay. So as you can see here, the bull, the owl, the lamb, and the tiger. All right. Now, what are some personality traits of the bull? All right. So, Bryant says he's the bull. By the way, Bryant, bulls are not laid back. Okay. So bulls, okay, just so you know, they get to the bottom line, okay, quickly. And let me stop my share here so I can move my thing up here, but let me just put this back into play. Sorry here. There we go. They get to the bottom line quickly, right? And I've noticed that you in your personality, Bryant, like you don't take no bull. Like it's like, hey, it's kind of like when you were setting up the chime, like, they were, you were like, hey, like this is ridiculous. I need this. You need something quick. And bulls, they seek control. Okay. And they're very blunt as well, right? Like Bryant will speak his mind, right? There are no frills, just facts. Okay. They don't want like, Bryant's trying to set up his mic, right? And he's like, this is like, listen, I just need to plug in and play. Like, I don't need anything else. I just plug and play. I guarantee you, Bryant did not read the directions. Okay. Brian is not a direction reader. Okay. That's why I have my wife, right? Like my wife reads the directions, on Christmas morning. She's the one that puts all the toys together. I can't do all that type of stuff now. And then hard to convince, you know what I mean? Now, listen, people that are in sales, I say they're kind of easy to convince. So, Bryant's an action taker. Like I just know this from knowing him for a while. He'll take action on anything, try it out. If it doesn't work, he'll move on to the next. But hard to convince, fast to decide, fast paced, and they want results. Okay. So like if Bryant, for instance, Bryant's really good at lead generation. He tries all different types of lead generation platforms. I've known him over 2 years, and he'll try a lead generation platform. If he doesn't get results out of it, he'll go to the next one. Right. So just know what the bull is. Also, the bull is a buyer. A bull usually has good credit. A bull can buy whatever they want. Okay. And the bull is also the person that parks in the handicap spot and they're not handicapped. Okay. You know, in some ways, they can be an a-hole sometimes. Okay, I'm just being honest. Okay, but we can all have a little bit of bull inside of us. So how do we deal with the bull? Okay, so real quick, you know, I'm gonna have Josh take over this part here real quick. How do you deal with a bull? So explain to the crowd here what we've got up on the screen here for the listeners on how you deal with a bull.
Yeah, so bulls prefer directness, getting right to the point. Do not go off on tangents or you will lose them. Be confident in your dealings with them and make sure you know what you're talking about, as they can be a bit impatient. Don't try to tell them they are wrong. They need to be shown the facts to make their own determinations. Don't use frills or fluff when dealing with the bull.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing with a bull. Like, I was told this early in my sales career 20 years ago. It said, Matt, you got to hit a bull. And you're looking at the bull here on the screen. And I know for the listeners, you can't see it, but think of a picture of a bull right now. A bull, you got to hit the bull right between the eyes. Okay. And if you can hit the bull right between the eyes, that bull will respect you. You think about a bull in a bull ring, okay, and it's chasing after somebody with a red flag, okay? Like, if you back down from the bull's going to run you over. All right? So know that you got to look them directly in the eye, you got to shake their hand, and you got to know that you're dealing with a bull, and you better not back down. You better not be a lamb, which we're going to go over here in a second. And listen, if you're a lamb, you got to learn to be a chameleon. All right. So you got to be able to deal with the bull. Okay.
So I've got a great story on
yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
dealing
go
with
ahead,
the
Josh.
bull. Back when I sold manufactured housing, I had a family come in, wife, a husband, and one of their kids. And the guy was definitely a bull. He was a sheriff, you know, came in, little man syndrome a little bit, and just would not play the game and go through all the info. And I knew, you know, especially at that time, you basically had to, you know, get them to run through the system, see if they could even qualify. You know, they just wanted to go out and look at homes. And we get that all the time, even in real estate. But he was just trying to bull his way through. And I sat back in my chair, put one foot up on the desk. And I said, look, we can do this all day long, but if I go out there and show you a home that you can't afford, your wife sitting right next to you is going to be awfully mad at you that that's the one she fell in love with, and she can't have it now. So let's just go through the process, get it done, and move on down the road. And we'll get out as quickly as possible to go look at homes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it goes to the point here on the screen here, you know, a realtor has up to 60 seconds, guys. 60 seconds to gain the bull's respect. If you don't have the bull's respect in the 60 seconds, then you're going to get ran over, and it's just going to be a terrible experience for you and the bull. The bull's probably not going to choose you as their realtor. 60 seconds. So you got to hit that bull right between the eyes with assertiveness, and you got to know what you're talking about, and you just got to hit the bull between the eyes. So yeah, kind of role play that type of stuff. You know, maybe have somebody that you know that maybe is a bull, or maybe have your wife or something, or play it in the, you know, the mirror when you meet a bull. You know, how are you going to stand up tall and be able to talk to that bull? So you got to be a chameleon in this business. If you can be a chameleon, then you can sell more houses, because you can adapt to everybody's personality, because everybody has a different personality. And if you just try to be the same person with everybody's personality, you're not going to close a lot of people, and you're not going to build a lot of relationships with people. So what are some personality traits of the owl? Okay. Now listen, I'm going to talk about this one because me personally, I'm not an owl, and this is my hardest customer, okay, to be able to be a chameleon to, because I'm a tiger. I'm more tiger on the personality trait. I've got a little bit of bull, but most of the time I'm a tiger. And this one right here gets me every time, but I've learned over years how to adapt to this and calm myself down and be like, listen, this person is analytical. The owl is analytical. They want to study everything. They want detail oriented. Well, Matt Middlestead is not detail oriented. I'm the tiger, like, you know, Tony the Tiger. Okay. They are a deep thinker. All right. You're not going to close this customer on the first time. And I'll give you a story on this. My mom was shopping for an RV, and my dad is very much personality like myself. He's a tiger. And my dad was like, Barbara, what I need you to do is I need you to just go out and do your due diligence that you like to do, and call me when you're ready to buy it, and I'll come up there and write the check. That's my dad's personality. Like, I don't care what it looks like. You do your thing, right? So my mom is a deep thinker, methodical, relates best to logical order, takes time to make decisions, and intro perspective. So here's the deal. If you have an owl buyer, how do you notice you have an owl buyer? It's somebody that's asking a lot of questions, detail-oriented questions. It's somebody that walks in, okay, when you show up with the buyer, they walk in and they've got a notepad, right? You have to give them all the information. They're going to want to know things like, how old is the water heater? How old is the air conditioner? Has the home been inspected before? Has the home ever had termites? Like, they're going to ask you questions other than just, hey, how big's the bedrooms? How big's the living room? Like, that they want to know all the details. All right, down to the nitty gritty. So if you're not a chameleon and allow yourself, okay, the time to give them the information, you will lose them. They will go find somebody that's going to give them all the details. If you try to rush them, you will lose them. All right. So owl personalities, but guess what? An owl is a buyer as well. They're a high qualified buyer. You want to know why? Because they don't make mistakes. They're the ones that what was that old thing, guys? The Reader's Digest or whatever, where they have all these different like stars for different washers and dryers. I mean, I think that's what it was, something of that nature. But like where, like all these different man, what do you say? Like where the like different ratings, right? Like they'll look up all that type of stuff, case studies, all that type of stuff. Okay. So personality traits of the owl. How do we deal with the owl? Brian, I'll let you take this over here really quick, and you can kind of read on the screen here, how you deal with the owl.
All right. So owls are generally introverted and serious in nature. Everything's got to be analyzed. All the questions must be fully answered, and they must understand everything and be fully comfortable. Too much excitement is unsettling to an owl. They like stability, routine, or else they kind of get out of their comfort zone. You can't rush an owl. They need to make the decisions on their time, present the facts clearly and concisely, and let the owl make up its own mind. The owl's very sharp and very reliable. You really only get one chance with the owl, so don't really mess it up. Just kind of play to their personality.
Yep, 100%. The owl, like I said, the owl will be your best friend. But if you're a tiger or you're a bull and you don't be a chameleon to the owl, you will lose them very, very quickly. So that's the owl personality trait. And then from there, let's talk about the lamb. Okay, so we went over the bull, we went over the owl, and now we're going to talk about the lamb. All right. Now listen, the lamb you have to be very careful with. The lamb is very timid. You can hear me, right? It's a little bit of a lamb. Okay. So listen, the lamb avoids conflict. Like they're the person that's like, hey, I don't want any conflict. Like, hey, if they don't want to come down on the price, then I'm okay with that. Right. Like they're more easily agreeable, right? So as a real estate agent, they're going to need your guidance. Like they're going to need you to hold their hand, and they're going to look up to you for your advice. All right. They're not going to argue with you, and they seek to please. All right. And they have a hard time making decisions. All right. So it might take a little bit longer, but you really got to take care of the lamb. All right. And then even tempered and very soft spoken. If you're a tiger or you're a bull and you're like, listen, like you're going to lose them. You're going to lose them. Okay. And they're going to be scared. They're going to go hide. All right. They can be an introvert or an extrovert. All right. So they can be an introvert or an extrovert. And they're hard to read feelings. It's hard to read their feelings. Like, are they mad at me? Did I say the wrong thing? All those types of things, personality of the lamb. So be very, very careful of the lamb. You have to hold their hand. This is definitely one that you have to treat like one of your little kids, okay? Because you want to help them, but you don't want to hurt them, okay? All right. Now, how do we deal with a lamb? I'll let Josh take this over.
Yeah, so lambs are generally more soft-spoken and move at a much slower pace. They are good listeners, but they do have a hard time making decisions. Their patience is a virtue when dealing with the lamb. They can be outgoing or introverted, and they're generally kind and amenable. Lambs don't feel comfortable with too much force or directness. Use your words and actions wisely and at a slower pace to make them feel more comfortable. You must gently nudge a lamb. The lamb will flee if frightened.
Exactly. I mean, you got to think. I mean, I know the listeners can't see the picture, but it's like a little baby. Okay, you can't yell at it. You can't you can't be like, hey, we need to do this now. You got to be very, very careful and think about the real estate market we're in right now, right? This is a market where there's a little bit of a scarcity mindset. So you're going to have to be able to educate the lamb on, hey, why is it a good time to buy now? Because the lamb is thinking, oh my God, 6-7%. Oh my God. Like, you need to be able to be there for the lamb. Okay. So that's the lamb personality trait. Now let's talk about, my favorite, because I'm a tiger. Okay. Let's talk about the tiger. All right. Now the tiger is fun and loving. All right. They're expressive. They wear their feelings on the outside. They're impulsive. I'm very impulsive. My wife tells me all that all the time. I'm very impulsive. But I'll tell you a story on being impulsive. Okay, really quick. So, funny story. Been married to my wife for about 10 years, or been with her about 10 years. Been married about 7 or 8 years. And when we first started dating, all right, I was the guy that would get a commission check, and I would go buy the biggest thing ever. Like, I was like, hey, I got paid. I need to go reward myself. And my big thing in the day was when big screen TVs were coming out, right? Like, I've been in this real estate game for 20 years. So you guys can understand TVs kind of made their thing where it was like the box TV, right? And then it went to the flat screen. Then it went to the OLED or the LCD, then the OLED. Well, every year I would buy a new TV and I would upgrade to a bigger one. Well, I wanted to get an 80-inch flat screen TV. Like 80-inch was huge, right? And I wanted to get this like huge TV, for my sports and all this type of stuff. So I found one. I went to Best Buy and I walked in. She was my girlfriend at the time. And I'm like, this is the one I want. And it was like $6,000, right? Like, we all know that was a long time ago. Like $6,000 for a TV, you don't do that anymore. And so it was like one closing, and I was like, I'm going to buy this TV. And she goes, my wife is very much an owl. She's a little bit of an introvert and an owl. She goes, well, why don't we shop around a little bit, Matt, and let's go ahead and find, the best price. I said, no, I want this. She's like, well, Matt, what if I can find you, a better price? And I'm like, you're ruining it. You're ruining the excitement for me. I got really mad at her. I said, you're ruining it for me right now. And I stormed out like a little baby. Okay. I stormed out of the Best Buy and I said, I'm never taking you shopping with me again, ever again. And we get in the car and then I'm like, man, I'm such an asshole. And then she goes, well, let's just go and drive around and shop. So we went to the next place and we went to the next place. Then we went to this place. Then she's like, I found one in San Antonio. And I'm like, San Antonio is like an hour away. Why would we go buy it? She goes, because I found the same TV you want for $4,500. And I was like, dadgummit. All right, let's go. And I went and I bought the TV, right? But I learned from her not to be impulsive because she saved me almost over $2,000, okay, because of shopping. So I've learned over time as a tiger, she's starting to tame me. Okay. She's starting to tame me, which a lot of our women do that. They tame us. Right. So anyways, impulsive, excitable, quick decision maker. I mean, that was me. I was willing to throw $6,000 away for the TV to have it right now here today. Like I was never the guy. I'm never the guy that's like, yeah, we don't have it in stock. We can order it for you. No. I want it right now. Like if I'm going to pay you the money, I want it right now. And then strong, self-confident, and an extrovert. Like I'm definitely the extrovert, right? Like I love being in different crowds and things like that. So listen, tigers are fun. All right. If you're working with a tiger, they're probably going to make a quick decision. Okay. And if you're an owl and you're a realtor and you're an owl, you've got to be a chameleon to the tiger and know that the tiger does not care when he goes to the car dealership. This is a good analogy. He does not care about what's underneath the hood of the car. He doesn't care. All he cares about is it red and does it go fast? Like that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about anything else. All right. Or her. All right. Quick decision makers. How do we deal with the tiger? All right. So I'm going to let Bryant take this one over here and we're going to talk about how you deal with the tiger.
Right. So tigers are playful. Relevantly, our chit chat is fine before launching into the core of the discussion. Tigers won't give you clues as to what they are thinking. They're fast and direct communicators. They're a little more flexible and playful compared to the bull. When pushed, the tiger will hold its own. I feel like the tiger is a little bit more of the bull, and maybe all three of them a little bit. I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean the tiger can have, because I can be a bull in certain situations.
Mhm.
Like, you mess with my family, you mess with my agents, you mess with anybody that I care about. Like I'm gonna make sure that I make it happen, and that's when the bull kind of comes out. But the bull is tied in with the excitement of the tiger, right? Like a little over the top, right? Yeah, and then again, the lamb and the owl is one of those things where just if you think about if you think about the bull, just know that you got to hit him between the eyes. And then if you think about the owl, just know that you got to give them all the information. And if you think about the lamb, it's just somebody that you got to hold their hand and you got to be calm. Okay. And then the tiger, you just got to have fun with the tiger, right? You got to have fun with the tiger, joke around with the tiger, laugh with the tiger, and just find the tiger what he wants. And then he's going to go ahead and buy it, right? Find out what their wants and their needs are. So, yeah, again, tiger's fun. And listen, all these personality traits are fun. Okay. But the reason we wanted to talk to you about this today is because what I see agents' biggest fault is they don't know how to build rapport with the customer. All right. They don't understand that if you can build a relationship with somebody, then they're going to eat out of your hand. All right. They're going to do anything you want them to do. All right. And they're going to be a customer for life. But if you think about yourself and about the sale and not about the relationship, you will fail more times than none. So,
well, like you said, it's matching that personality type. It's so important in what we do because you're not going to get, 100 owls. If you're an owl, it just doesn't happen. And so in order to be successful in this business, you have to match what you have in front of you and you have to work for it and you have to placate that and go along with it so that you can make them happy at the end of the day and find the home that they want.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing on matching, I just want to bring this up. I'm glad you brought that up, Josh. So at the end of the day, if you meet somebody and for some reason, you just don't feel that y'all's personalities are, matching up, don't try to make that relationship work. If you already feel that it's not going to work, match them up with somebody in your brokerage or maybe a fellow agent that you think they would be good with and send it over as a referral. 25% or 30%, whatever you charge them referral fee is better than nothing. And you have to remember, as real estate agents, our job is our fiduciary responsibilities is to take care of the client. So if you have this ego and you let ego get in the way and go, well, you know what, I'm just going to fire that client. I'm just going to fire that client. Well, like, really, what have you done? Right? Like, don't fire the client. Try to, if you don't feel like you can work with them, try to match them with somebody that can work with them so that they're taken care of and still get a little bit of money off of it as well. Right. So I know Bryant, early in your career, there were some times, that there were some clients where you're like, man, I just want to fire them. And I was like, Bryant, let's calm down. Right. Cause Bryant's got a little bit of that bullness in him. Right. Okay. And so you got to know that, hey, listen, just like build that relationship with them. And Bryant's learned that over time that, hey, maybe they're not a good fit for me, but maybe I can put them with somebody that can be a good fit. Right.
Yep. Yeah, I did fire one. And I remember you had a conversation with me, pretty much the same conversation you have now. And I was quick to pull the trigger, again, like the bull. And I did fire him, and then he ended up getting on with another one of our agents, and she ended up closing the deal. So really, I'm the type of person that is going to learn from my mistakes. You can tell me 100 times, and I'm going to still go and do it and figure it out for myself. And that's just my personality type. And yeah, and ironically, a lot of my clients are the owls. A lot of them are the tech companies over at Apple that are very detail oriented. And so over my evolution of my real estate career, I guess, I've learned to be more calm and kind of be that chameleon like you're talking about. And, it's excelled my career as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this training, if you're listening to this, if you want to drop a comment, I can send you the slides that I went over, so you can have them and practice them. But I'll just give you a little backstory on why I had this training is because years ago, when I was in the manufactured housing industry, like Josh was talking about, I remember there was this one point in my career where I was always at the top in sales, but I wasn't doing well because what I was trying to do was with every client, I was just trying to go through I call it go to the gudular, right? Like go to the throat right away versus building that rapport with them, right? And actually getting to know them and finding out what their wants and their needs were. And when I learned about the different personalities and how I could just kind of be laid back and be like, hey, because here's what I found out is, when I meet with a customer for the first time, like I already know in my mind that they're not going to have to go with anybody else because I'm going to become their best friend. I'm going to become somebody that they're going to trust, somebody that they're going to like. And that's a confidence thing that you have to get as a real estate agent and know. I'll throw this over to Josh and Bryant, but listen, do you guys ever get a buyer's rep? And there might be people that listen to this and might go, oh, well, that you should get a buyer's rep because that'll protect you. Well, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. That piece of paper means nothing if you do not build rapport with a client. So the real estate world has taught you wrong if you say, hey, go ahead and and your brokerage has taught you wrong. And I'm okay with saying that because if they haven't taught you how to build rapport with a client, you don't need that document signed until you've built rapport with the client. How do you go to a buyer's appointment and say, hey, or even before some people do it and go, hey, let me let you sign this piece of paper that locks you in a relationship with me and you don't even know me and you don't even like me and trust me yet. It makes no sense at all. That piece of paper is for the weak, in my opinion, and I'm okay with saying that. It's for the weak. It's for the ones that want to protect themselves. But let me tell you about that document. That document means nothing because at any time they can fire you. Does that make sense? So the best thing you can do to get that document signed, because obviously you have to have it for compliance, but is to build rapport with the client. And then from there, build a relationship. And then guess what? They're going to go ahead and sign it anyways because they already like and trust you. What are y'all's thoughts on that really quick before we close out?
Well, so it happened to me on what would have been my first transaction as a realtor. Found him a house, got him in the home. But the part I missed on it was this older gentleman's girlfriend had a friend that was a realtor, and I didn't put them on the right house at the end of the day. And they backed out of the deal, ghosted on me, and went and bought another home. And the guy, bless his old heart, gave me a call and said, "Hey, we got a new house." And I was like, "What?" We had the buyer's rep sign, but again, it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. Buyers can go to whoever they want. And there are situations that I will get a buyer's rep early on in the transaction. I don't do it until I built that trust and rapport with them, but it's a case by case basis depending on the type of client or personality trait that I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it's one of those things that, and the point to this whole thing is, listen, be the best rapport builder in real estate and be the best marketer. Those are the top real estate agents. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how good looking you are. The one that wins in real estate is the best marketer and the best rapport builder, relationship builder, 100%. But Brian, any last thoughts on what we talked about today?
Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. I don't even get the buyer's rep agreement signed until they're under contract. If they're under contract, they'll say, I'll send it over to them and, let them know about it. Like Josh said, there are times where I do have it, done early off in the transaction, depending on that type of client. It's I guess it's kind of a gut feeling. But it's a lot like you mentioned in our meetup on last week with the lender. Like a lot of agents will even, hey, let's get you pre-qualified before they even meet you. The first conversation. And I feel like that's such a bad way to do it. And build that rapport, build that trust, and then, hey, do you need a lender, or do you have a lender handled, or do you need me to help you out with one? And then I feel like that kind of falls in the same category. I know I got a little off topic, but build that relationship is what's the main goal.
Yeah, Brian, I couldn't agree with you more, and what we talked about last week at the No Agent Left Behind Mastermind was, just to recap, was, and one of the things I was saying was, hey, listen, some brokerages and some people and management teach you that, hey, before you go out and see a buyer, you should get them pre-qualified. And I 100% disagree with that, because if you called me up and said, hey, listen, or I called you up and I said, Brian, hey, I want to go see this house at 123 ABC Street. And you said to me, well, that's great, Matt, I'd love to show you the home, but are you pre-qualified? I would take offense to that, because obviously I've done my homework, and if somebody's calling you to see a house, more times than none, they are already pre-qualified. Or if they're not pre-qualified, they wouldn't just be going looking at a house. There's a very small percentage that would waste your time. So I teach people, to show up to the house. So Bryant calls me up and he says, hey, I want to go see 123 ABC Street. I say, fantastic. What time did you want to go see it today? Well, I'd like to see it at 1 o'clock. Awesome. I'll meet you at the home. That's my opportunity to get belly to belly with them, do exactly what we trained today, which was build rapport, find out what personality they are. And then at the end of the conversation, after I've showed them one house, agents have to not be lazy. Okay. Drive in your car, show the house, build rapport. That is your opportunity that's sitting right there. And then from there at the end, you ask, hey, listen, do you need help with a lender, or do you already have that handle? That's a lot better than saying, are you pre-qualified? You're asking them, do you need help with a lender, or do you already have that handle? It's a really simple question, and it makes it sound like, yeah, I already have that handle. Fantastic. And if they say, no, I don't have that handled, you say, hey, listen, no worries, not a problem. Listen, I've got a great guy that I can refer you to you, or a couple lenders I can refer to you. Here they are. Boom, 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 boom. Get them on a text with your lender. Then the next time you go out and look, if they aren't pre-qualified, you already know where you're going with them, right? So just know that that's part of it, of building the rapport with them. And then, asking that question. And listen, if they don't qualify, the best thing that can happen at that situation is, the worst thing that could happen was that you get a referral out of them, right? Or you've gotten them with a lender and they're helping them fix their credit, right? But don't get on your high horse and go, well, listen, I'm not going out with anybody unless they're pre-qualified. I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. Now, don't do that. That's the problem with the industry. And that's why realtors fell, is because you got a new realtor that just came in. They just came into the field, and they're out making calls, and they're like, hey, yeah, I'd like to see this house. And they're like, oh, well, listen, you're not pre-approved. Okay, great. Let's get you pre-approved first, and then we'll go out and see houses.
Well, and think about it.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Think about it. They can call Zillow right now. They can call realtor.com right now. They can call Open Door right now.
Yeah.
And set an appointment, and somebody's going to go out there and show it to them, no matter what. And so having that mindset of, hey, I'm going to go meet you. It's worth my 30-minute drive to go build rapport, gain their trust, and then have the right to ask them follow-up questions and figure out if they can buy.
Exactly. Just what Josh said, have the right. I like to say, and Josh knows this, earn the right. Earn the right to ask those questions. You haven't earned the right to ask for the business. Well, guys, this has been a great podcast this morning. And sorry we're a little late this week. I was out of town in Philadelphia this weekend, so we're a little late on recording, but glad that we could deliver this out to you. And we'll have another podcast this next week. And so anyways, guys, listen, if you have any questions, comments, drop them in the comments. We'd love to know a subject you'd like to talk about for next week or the following week after that. But appreciate everybody. Josh and Bryant, you guys have any last words before we close this thing out?
Go out there and make some deals.
Yes,
absolutely.
sir.
All right. Sounds good. Well, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.